Hello guys, and regards from the outskirts of Lviv. Today we are going to visit an amazing facility which actually brings new life to wounded Ukrainian people. Welcome.
Welcome to Superhuman Center. This one is constructing, this one is finished. Here is our prosthetic lab, rehabilitation department and psychological support. And now we are adding up social workers. So we are not only rehabilitating people so they can walk, we are trying to find the reason for them to walk. We're trying to socialize them because they can't go back to the front lines. Some of them go, some of them cannot. So we need to help them to find a job or education or everything. So the service becoming longer, after rehabilitation we do social work. So let's go inside, I'll show you very quickly around.
And how did you get into this? Because this is an incredible facility you're building here. I assume this didn't exist a year ago. How did you get into it? What's the sort of passion and experience that drove you into doing this?
That's Andrei's idea. Andrei's over there on the back. He wanted to build, he wanted to solve a problem. The problem is we want to see a different picture of Ukraine after the war. Without people, we don't want to see people with disabilities, we want to see people fixed, people with skull prostheses, with fixed faces, with scars, not wounds. So that's an instrument to do that. And we built it from the idea to the opening, less than a year. So yeah, everyone was telling us that we are crazy to build something during the war. And our next location is Kharkiv. And people tell us we are crazy again. And we've been crazy a year ago, and now it's working. So
let's have a look inside.
Yeah. So the prosthetic lab is here. So they put together prostheses here in this space. And here are the 3 steps of producing prostheses. The step 1, so they do the cast. It's a very simple explanation of what the prosthetists do here. They get crazy when I explain in very simple terms. They do the cast and then they produce the exact copy of your stump. And that's the first step. It's almost an artwork here. And then they move to the second room. That's where they produce stump holders. This is a temporary stump holder. When it needs to be transparent, so the prosthetists actually see, where you need to fix it, where you need to put additional cover. And this is a constant one. So we decorate it the way that our patients want. We put the pictures they want here. So they need to love their, new part of the body. So this is actually the oven. You use plastic. You put plastic on top of the copy of your stump. And you end up having the temporary stump holder. And then you use cardboard or other materials to make a constant one. So this is a step 2. And the step 3 is working with metal, wood, and plastic, actually, adjusting that to the patient. The most positive part on the left-hand side is the patient, so the right-hand side is a prosthetic lab. So the patient, from the moment he walked in to the moment he is on his 2 fits, it's almost like 2-3 days. And if something not working out, we can adjust it right here. So they don't need to wait until we take it to the lab, bring it back, and everything. This is the reception zone. This is where all our patients spend time while they're waiting. They play games here. They meet for the first time their doctors. So here is the main entrance, which is closed right now because of the reconstruction process, and the rehabilitation floor on the 2nd floor.
Is that for life, or do they have to be renewed every couple of years?
It has to be fixed. People lose weight, people gain weight, so it needs to be adjusted quite often. And 2-3 years, depending on a prosthesis, on your needs and goals. Sometimes you need, a sport one, or your goals and needs has changed, so it's different. Yeah, it's hydrotherapy. It's where we work with the patients So it's more about rehabilitation. It's not recreation, it's rehabilitation.
It's necessary.
Because the water takes off up to 90% of your weight. So you can walk here if you can't walk there. And also the water resistance helps to rehabilitate patients faster. So this is rehabilitation floor. It's going to be connected with main building. Here is a psychologist, here is doctors and everything, getting back on the front lines. So Rob rehabilitated him to put on a tourniquet, to shoot, because he has two prostheses, bionic on the right hand, and on the left hand is...
And do many go back to the front? I mean, what sort of percentage? Some obviously can't because of their trauma is too great.
Almost, I would say 80% wants to come back to the front line, but not everyone can, of course. So that's why we need to find the role for them in a normal life. But Mikola can go as a combat trainer, as advisor, as he can work with documents, and a lot of guys from the mining industry are going back because they can teach others.
Yeah.
So they can't do the work at the front line because of the bionic prosthesis, because of, you need to charge it, it's very sensitive to water, dust, everything, but they can do a lot of work because
logistics
they are
roles, support, training roles.
Yeah. But we want them to live a normal life, to live a civil life. So that's our biggest dream. So that's a rehabilitation floor, and the third floor is teaching classes and relax zone for our guys. So when they get sick and tired of us, they go on the third floor. They have computer games there, they have a place where they can relax.
Of course, they feel mobile here. They feel that they have a lot of freedom here. But when they go back into the cities, there isn't the same facilities, are there? Getting into shops, metros, there can be some challenges.
When they are verticalized and walk, that's more or less fine. There are some difficulties, but people who are verticalized more or less okay to move around. But people on wheelchairs, definitely for them, it's not very accessible city. So that's why we need to rebuild the cities, we need to rebuild infrastructure to make it more comfortable.
That's fantastic. Incredible job you're doing here.
Incredible people, actually. They really want to go back to life. And the goal of our medical director that people who live Superhumans have to live with better score than they had before the trauma. So we rehabilitate them to their dreams, not even to their goals. So the dreams are more powerful, so we try to understand what they want to do in life, what is their biggest wish, and we bring them with a team to that point. But we can't do that without them, because they are our partners in this process. So most of our patients are very motivated, very tuned to go back on there too. So we are surrounded by amazing people here.
And a crucial question is, people watching this, how can they help? How can they help with donations, those who maybe want to volunteer, those who perhaps want to reach out to Western companies for support, financial support? What can they do?
Well, definitely the easiest way is як воно? Важко? Нормально. So basically, how to do reconstructive surgery, or your rehabilitologist, like occupational therapy or hydrotherapy, welcome to come here and volunteer. That's number one. Number two, we always need money, because 50 patients for us is $1 million. We can make 50 patients per month. We need to raise $1 million only in prosthetic components. The average cost is $20,000. Most of our patients have double, triple amputations. So meaning one patient can cost up to $150,000, and it's very important to return them back to life. So money is always a great idea. The more money we have, the more people we can fix.
And I don't think that many people in the West realize the scale of trauma that you're dealing with. I mean, not since the First World War have there been so many amputees on this kind of scale. And obviously this facility is incredible, but you can't treat everybody who's coming back from the front.
We can't treat everybody, but we are scaling up to 5 more regions, and we are training rehabilitologists, we are training prosthetists for the rest of Ukraine. So we are trying to actually, build the capacity of Ukrainian healthcare system. So we are not the only one, definitely. The line is very long, that's very true, especially for the upper limbs. We are lacking specialists for the upper limbs, that's the biggest problem. Yeah, I mean, everyone who's in the front lines right now will need rehabilitation in different forums. Psychological, physical, people had bad nutrition for almost a year and a half. They slept on the ground and they carried 30 kilograms. So all of them will need rehabilitation. So the need for rehabilitation in this country is going to be huge for the next years. 40% of Ukrainian territory is mined, meaning that if the war stops tomorrow, we will still have civilians and demining personnel who will be coming to Superhumans because they lost their limbs. That's the reality.
And you're also training up experts, because I assume when the war began, obviously you've been at war since 2014, but the scale of expertise you require, you're obviously playing a key role in creating that generation of experts who can help deal with the trauma.
We are building an educational center here. Right now we only train for separate skills, like in rehabilitation we do short trainings, but we need actually to bring a new army of psychologists, prosthetists and rehabilitologists. So it's a lot of work.
This is an incredible job you're doing, Olya, and I'm extremely grateful.
I love what we do. It's probably the first place in all my life when you see results so quickly. You see someone who walked in a wheelchair, and in 3 days this person is walking towards you. This is the best job I ever had.
It's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, it's returning lost abilities to the best people.
And I could see when we arrived, you know everybody by name, you know the patients, you know their circumstances, you know their stage of development, and I can see the passion you've got for it really comes out strongly.
They all deserve, really the best attitude, and I want to know their stories because I need to build the best service for them. So I know everything about them, from the way how they go to the toilet if they are double amputees, to the way when they have kids, families, and other problems. We need to know that because this way we can adjust the service and deliver them what they want, not what we think they want. So that's a very friendly project.
Last question, we're running an event tomorrow. One of the key focuses is on victory, what victory means and how it's achieved. For you, what is victory and what does victory mean in the war?
It's the answer is very clear. I want our territories back, as it was. So that there is no doubt. So I want Crimea back. I was raised in Crimea. I was born in Donetsk. That's two of my homelands. I want my territories back, and I want to have a right to make a decision how to live in this country. That's a victory for me. Give us back our territories. Give us right to run our life the way we want. And lots of challenges ahead of us, but after everything we have been through, we are ready. I don't know.
I think everyone watching this channel believes in that victory. I'm so grateful to you spending time talking to us. I know you've got an incredibly packed schedule and you've got this incredible institution to run. So we're hugely grateful that you could spend some time to
Thank you very much for keeping Ukraine in headlines and in your hearts. We are a very brave nation. We can do that, but we can't do that without your support. We have just too big enemy to fight. But we definitely prove the world that we can do that. We just need support.
Absolutely. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Well, Olga, thank you so much for the tour. It's been really fantastic. I was actually saying to camera that this place looks like something out of like Switzerland or some like really high-tech city. How is this possible to have it in Ukraine already and so quickly since the war?
We just didn't have time to wait. Yeah. We had to be very quick because we had a line of patients who were waiting. So we had to just hurry up because they trusted in us. Some people applied for Superhumans before we existed. So there are people here in this building who trusted in us more than we did in ourselves.
Wow.
So that's an incredible credit, you know, of trust and support. So that's very moving.
Yeah, and I think that it's a huge motivation to the people who are volunteering their lives, risking their lives to defend Ukraine on the front lines, both Ukrainians as well as foreign volunteers, knowing that they'll be taken care of if something happens to them and they lose a limb, they're able to walk. Meanwhile, I'm assuming in Russia, they're just leaving them and not caring about them. So do you think that like the soldiers on the front line now know, okay, if something happens to me, at least someone will try to take care of me?
They do, but you know, I had this conversation with one of our patients. He told me that everyone at the front lines is ready to die,
Yeah.
but not everyone is ready for disability.
Yeah.
Disability is a different state.
I can imagine, yes.
So that's not easy. They do have hope that someone will take care of them, but it's a huge work.
Yes.
You know, it's just it's a small period when we put them on their 2 feet, verticalized, and then they have to build their own life. We are here for them, but you know, it's a lot of work ahead of
It's
them.
definitely a huge step, and I know traditionally it's very expensive. I think before having this, for someone to have to fly somewhere to like Switzerland or Sweden to do it, I'm assuming it's a lot more expensive than you doing it in-house. Is that correct?
Absolutely. The biggest problem with prosthetics abroad, you can get them installed there, but the maintenance and support will be in Ukraine. So you need to have your prosthetist here who knows what he installed so he can take care of that. So maintenance and support should be done in the country where the prosthetics installed. We lose weight, we gain weight. So it's very important that it's done here. Plus, it's more cost efficient to do it here, definitely, because we can invest all money for the flights, you know, accommodation and living in a prosthetic and care.
It definitely makes sense. And as far as funding, is it supported purely by the government, or do you need donations? How is it funded?
We don't use government money at all because we believe that government has other things to spend money on to finish this war as soon as possible. So we only attract external donations from big corporations, private individuals, or big foundations.
Wow. So thank you to everyone who's donated so far. This building is amazing. Everything they've done is amazing. If you guys want to donate, they just go to superhumans.com.
Yep.
Well,
And support our brave Ukrainians.
yeah. And if someone wants to come and volunteer, is that possible as well?
Yeah, if you have a specific superpowers, if you're a prosthetist, if you're a surgeon, or orthopedic surgeon, or reconstructive surgery surgeon, or if you are a hydrotherapist or a rehabilitologist, we are happy to have you here.
Okay. Well, Diakuyu for all your work, and to all the heroes who are fighting the front line, thank you. I'm glad this place exists.
Thanks.
So this is a complete coincidence. We didn't know you were going to be here.
Okay.
This isn't set up, but I understand that you have some involvement with creating this incredible facility and the work that it's doing.
You know, we started to be involved, or we get first information about this project in February. After that, we started to take a look how we can help. And you know, Software is IT company. We are working in high tech. And our idea was somehow to be involved into project that very close to our people. You know, our business is based on people. We invest a lot in education. We have Software University, and we decided to invest into teaching local doctors some sort of complex surgeries. And we invested about $1 million. It's a joint project with US medical center, currently I don't remember the name, and it will be 3 visits from United States here to train our people. As a result, we will have completed about 30 plus surgeries, like patients, about 20 doctors. And all equipment that will be used during this training will be kept here for further. So we are looking for some sort of project that is not one-time investment. This is some sort of investment. We have like many repeated events. and we are happy to be involved and participate in
This is incredible and necessary work, unfortunately.
Yes, yes. You know, currently it's very difficult time for Ukrainian people, and we all should be together and to do. Each of us has like so own front how we can be involved. We working a lot in business to earn money and to help people who are fighting in army, who are getting some sort of retreatment. So many directions.
This is incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, that was incredible. I must say I'm really impressed in everything what I've seen, and this really brings hope. And another thing is that it doesn't actually feel anytime close to be like a hospital. I didn't see ill or sick people there. What I've seen is inspiration, is smile, and is belief into the good future. Thank you guys. This exactly shows the resilience of Ukrainians. And let's carry on.
I was really impressed. Actually, on the way here, we were talking, Orest and Jonathan were talking about how, if there's someone who is like struggling, don't film them. You don't want to, make people look bad. But actually, when you were here, everyone like felt superhuman. Like really, like everybody was proud that they're rehabilitating. I can't even say this word. Rehabilitating, that they're, they have the prosthetics, and they have a new chance on life. So I'm really impressed, and I feel like we are in the future. This is probably what Sweden and Switzerland and these kind of top countries have. And this is in Ukraine. So this is the bright future of Ukraine. And I'm proud to be part of it.
Jonathan, how does it feel? Well, how can you summarize everything what we just seen?
This is just an incredible place. I'm absolutely blown away by what we've seen. This is a world-class facility on the outskirts of Lviv. I don't think any of us coming here today were expecting this. We were gearing ourselves up for something traumatic, to see people, heart-wrenching situations, even people who are traumatized and depressed, and we don't want to, gloss over that. Of course, they've gone through incredible suffering, but what we saw here is incredible work being done in world-class facilities by, expert surgeons who are absolutely passionate about what they're doing, and actually we saw a huge amount of resilience and even an incredible sense of life. It completely went against our expectations, and we're absolutely stunned to see this. This place built in a year under wartime conditions to absolutely world-class standards, and they're now doubling the facility. They're looking to build 5 of these centers across Ukraine. This is incredible, and this is why Ukraine must win. This kind of resilience, this humanity, this care that we see here for every individual soldier, and the efforts to try and rehabilitate them and give them a mobile, meaningful life. We know that on the other side, Russians are left to die in ditches and beaten by dogs. There's no care for their troops. They don't give a damn about human life. This is why Ukraine must triumph. We've just been to a place that has incredible life and resilience, people coming back from the front who at some point maybe thought they wouldn't be alive, that losing limbs meant the end of life, and we've seen that place has an incredible kind of resilience, almost a joy as people are rehabilitated. And we followed that by somewhere that has a very different atmosphere. This is just a mile or two down the road. This is the result of Russian world. This is the result of the toxic, poisonous, hateful philosophy that has taken over Russia, the imperialist obsession, the Russian disease. This is the result of the Russian world. This is what Ukrainians are fighting for, and this is why we have to support them to the end. If we don't give them the armaments and munition they need, there won't just be a few cemeteries like this. There'll be hundreds of them, thousands of them. And then Russia will turn their attention to Europe as well, and we'd see similar sites, similar trauma and misery spread across Europe. Have no doubt, this is the Russian world. This is what it does. It ends people's lives. It causes trauma, suffering, devastation, destruction. Ruski mir, idi nakhuy. So this is just one cemetery, and it's growing every day. Every day, there are funerals taking place in the main churches of the city. And this is just one town, this is Lviv, one cemetery in one town of many hundreds of settlements across Ukraine where these same rituals, same grief are playing out day by day. The scale of Russia's aggression is beyond belief. The scale of the victims of Russian aggression is absolutely mind-boggling. This is just one small snapshot, a field of flags, a field of misery. There are people here bidding goodbye to husbands, to children. In many cases, their future, their dreams built on these people, their close ones. And this is now all they've got left. The people we saw earlier are lucky. They've only lost limbs. They're able to go and have some kind of life. But looking at the faces of these soldiers, so many of them are young, some of them are clearly old, fathers, grandfathers, but so many of them had so much life to give, dreams, hopes, none of which will be fulfilled now. This is the Russian world. This is what it does. It takes hope away from people, all for the sake of some pointless, delusional obsession with imperial greed, lust for land, and misguided, mythologized history and lies. It has to be ended. Something we've focused a lot on Silicon Curtain is the supply of weaponry. Right from the start of this war, when the channel got going, we were interviewing military experts. We were interviewing people who have some experience of the Russian world and how it operates. And all of them said that the supply of weapons, the supply of capability that needs to be provided to Ukraine needs to be speeded up. And yet a year and a half later, the supply of the equipment that Ukraine needs to achieve victory has always been one step behind that requirement, has always been weeks or months late. This is the consequence. Thousands and thousands of needless deaths of brave Ukrainians have been caused by the slow supply of weaponry, the failure to understand what equipment is required and when it's required. This is just one cemetery, and it fills about a third of the plot of land that we're standing on. There's a huge green space, including Soviet memorials as well to the Second World War, but there's a huge amount of space here to expand the cemetery. And if Western governments and politicians don't up their game and supply the weaponry that Ukraine needs, this field and many more like it will be filled with graves like this. Flags fluttering in the wind, children, mothers, wives, fathers kneeling at the graves of their relatives. Many of these don't have to die if we support Ukraine properly with what it needs, if we speed up the supply of munitions, help it to achieve a victory faster and with far less cost to these brave individuals that value their freedom, fighting against Russians who don't value their freedom, who want to impose their autocracy on Ukraine, on Eastern Europe, on the Baltics, on the world. This has to be ended now, and it has to be ended faster. This is the reason why.